Oh my God, did you hear about the new Thor movie coming out? I'm so excited.
Right? Yeah, right.
So good.
The first one was amazing.
Yeah.
So in watching the Outsider video, I think it was great. I think all of you recognize that it's bad behavior. It's poor behavior to get up from a table where someone sits down and it's someone you think is nerdy, not so nice, whatever your reason is. And 134 students said, which was 38% of students said that they would actually report it to an adult. So I'm curious, if you'd report it to an adult, who would you talk to? And what would you actually say to them? And what would your concerns be?
And I told him, dude, that's an avocado. Come on.
Hey, Susie, you look hot today.
I like those pants, Susie.
Shut up!
The gauntlet, which was a scene with the boys against the locker, smart talking to the girl walking by. I'm very surprised at how many kids actually think that this is just normal teenage behavior and there's nothing wrong with it. So my concern is, and I don't know that you all realize, that this is actually considered sexual harassment, which falls under Title IX, and it's illegal to talk to someone that way. If you all were adults working in a job, or even working a job currently, it's wrong and it's illegal. It's sexual harassment. So I think that's something that students need to think about, and how much your words can affect someone, even though you think you're being silly and this is just typical teen behavior, how those words after someone walks away, how they're going to walk away from it.
Dude, you see this picture? That's I think ODA, dude. One of the
One second, I gotta check the Snapchat.
Alright, hold on.
Oh wait, you know what? You should send that text. Send it.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Send that text.
I'm signing.
That's hilarious. That one.
Dude, that. Yeah, right. That's good, dude.
That's great.
Right. Oh man.
I don't know. I don't think I have
Dude, you sent that other text about how she was with John this weekend.
All right.
But last weekend she was with Brad. I don't know what that's all about.
Oh, jeez, that one's definitely going.
Oh, dude, you should send that picture. That picture. You should send that picture to the whole school.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. All right.
So I found it interesting that in the cyber etiquette, 72% students said that it was bad behavior and that it should be reported. And interestingly, this is an area that is very familiar with your generation of students. Cyberbullying has become probably the highest percentage of bullying occurs through cyberbullying. So I commend you all that you recognize that this is inappropriate and that it should be reported, and hopefully you all know where to go, the deans, the counselors, who to speak to report an incident like this.
Right, tell her she's ugly. She's like so ugly.
Why does she even have friends?
Don't know. Why don't you ask her that? Ask her why anybody hangs out with her.
I will, honestly.
Look at her hair.
I mean, honestly, look at that shirt. It's like so ugly on her.
Yeah.
It makes her look fat.
Yeah. It does. Ugh. People these days.
Honestly.
All right, so it's very interesting that I would say about, it looks like 90% of people know that this is bad behavior, but only 61% thinks this should be reported to an adult. So I wonder if whether this is something that we need to address as a school or amongst students, or as behavior that's really not acceptable.
We got nominated for homecoming team, right? Yeah, probably. Yo, hey, hey, freshman, come here.
Come on, man. Oh, what's up, yeah?
Hey, we need to go get us some pops down in the calf.
Yeah, dude, make it 2 pops, man. Make it 2.
when we were freshmen, we had to go get pop for our seniors too.
Yeah, you know, so hey, why don't you run down there and get us some pops,
Yeah, let's
alright?
go. Come on,
Make it quick.
Come on, make it quick. I'm thirsty.
Freshman, dude, I swear. Gosh.
The situation with the freshmen, it's actually a great example of like an initiation or hazing type of ritual. And there's always talk coming into high school, like as a freshman, you're going to have to do this or that. And I know that that's a part of the whole sense of going into high school, but it's wrong. And having a freshman or anybody for that matter do anything that's an initiation of some sort is hazing and does need to be reported to an adult.
Hey Emily,
Yeah?
wanna know what I heard?
What did you hear?
I heard that you've been messaging my boyfriend and texting him on Facebook. And if I find out or hear anything like that again, I will make your life miserable until the day you die.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've known him way longer than you, and he's my best friend.
I don't care. You don't do that to someone else when they are dating someone. Whatever.
On this one, a good percentage of students really felt that this was just typical, normal teenage behavior. And although this happens probably all the time, the part that I don't think students necessarily realize is that she was making a threat. Any kind of threat can be addressed with a disciplinary action. And I think you all need to think about that when you get in a situation like that. It's frustrating. I know that this is pretty typical, but there are ramifications for making threats to someone, and that is bullying as well.
Nice shirt, dude.
Hey, what's wrong with my shirt?
Dude, it's a pink shirt. Who has a pink shirt nowadays?
Doesn't have a picture. Look at you. I mean, gym class has been over for like 3 hours.
Hey, you know what? Gym class is my favorite class.
Hey,
You're not
look at
wrong.
his shades, bro.
Hey, you talking about my shaved dog? He's a drifty. He's a drifty man. Stay drifty.
Yeah, man, I don't know whatever.
What about his boat shoes? I mean, those are old man shoes. Who wears old man shoes?
Yo, hey man, hey,
School.
no. Hey, that's bullying, dude. Don't say that.
So in this episode, it's not bullying, and I noticed that about 90 and some percent of students noticed that it was bad behavior. Some 71% said there's nothing wrong with it. It is not right to make other people feel bad, obviously, but this is not bullying, and that's correct.
So you're going.
Yeah.
What's up, big guy?
Yep. I hate her.
This one was like.
So. You get your girl? Or no? Make we go. Oh. Okay. Sorry to bother you.
Jeez. Alright.
It's all good.
Is it all good? Doesn't seem like it. So here's what you do.
Thanks for saving my spot.
I found this one very interesting in the all day long. This was one of the highest percentages of students willing to, knowing that it was bad behavior and that it should be reported. And interestingly enough, this was one where there was actual physical contact. So I'm curious, do you feel like when physical contact comes into play, does that make it a more serious type of bullying?
Whatever, she's a bully anyways, I don't like her.
You know, this kind of thing just happens in high school. This kind of thing happens in high school. Don't worry about it. It's
Yeah, it always happens. Get over it.
Not a big deal.
found it really interesting that about 30% of students who answered this question after watching this thought it was actually good advice, considering the situation, when it's bad advice.
I just won't be left alone there.
That behavior, like, this isn't acceptable.
You know what? You're right. That's just not right. You know what? Me and Devin, you know, we'll talk to a counselor.
Yeah, we'll help you out.
That's not right.
Thank you.
Okay, well, this was a great example of how this is good advice, and 96% of you thought it was good advice, which is great. Yes, and when this type of situations happen, you want to turn to support services. So we do have counselors, social workers, psychologists, whoever you feel comfortable talking to. But I'm glad that this was brought up in the advice.
So after looking at all of the percentages and results from the questions, one of the things that I thought about was, do you as students think that teachers and staff here at Maine West are aware of these behaviors going on? And how can we help to be more vigilant in helping you get through these things? If these things are going on, how can teachers help out with that and staff? And then the other question is, where are these kinds of behaviors happening the most? Are these things that are going on in the hallways, in the lunchroom, on sports teams? Where do you see bullying behavior occur most?
One of the last things we'd like to mention is that we want to make sure that you know of all the places and all the people that you can talk to when you notice that there's bullying going on. So remember that there's teachers, there's counselors. If you don't know or you don't have a good relationship with your counselor, you can go to another counselor. You can go to your coach, you can go to the deans, you can go to our psychologists, our social workers, and even our hall monitors for help.